Get set, everybody, because today we'll be playing a game called Narcissu. Because these past few days I felt nothing, which is not good. Because one of the basic things that makes humans a human is that they're able to feel things. And since I'm not able to feel those, that is concerning. So, maybe this game will make me feel again. Let's start. Let's go for Narcissu first. Yeah. Translation. Yeah. Here we go. What is this? Agilis? Is it GP32? I don't know. Maybe. Voiced? Sure.
眩しかった日のこと、そんな冬の日のこと。
What? I have... It went on its own. I have to read that. This isn't a good... There's no option to... Let's see, configuration... speed... But no subtitle on... So, there's no option that, doesn't skip on its own. Damn it. 2001, 30,000 people, 32,000. From July 2004, police... God damn it. Spring 1996 at Sumi. Sorry about that, fellas, but it's too fast.
確かに幼い頃から丈夫な方じゃなかった。
True, I wasn't very healthy ever since I was a child. Even so, I attended elementary school like all the others, and during summer breaks I often played until I was utterly tanned. June, shortly after my entry into middle school. The day after I'd ordered a swimsuit for use the next month. My first hospitalization. The day just before the first semester midterms, or the day when the first drops of rain were so cruelly cold. Falling from amidst the pure white of the overcast sky. Of course, the first time it happened, all my classmates came to visit me almost every day. When I was released, they even came to my house on weekends to play. But that was only the first time around. Oh. Autumn into winter, winter into spring, a vicious cycle. Hospitalization, release, clinics, and hospitalization again. Damn. Before I knew it, even the classmates I once called friends turned into acquaintances, and then into strangers. As if with every changing of seasons, I was being erased from their collective memory.
どうやらいい気がしないらしい。
It seems that to all those normal people,
普通に生きている人にとって、
my very existence was an unpleasant fact.
だから
And so, it looks like I've been erased.
白い梅雨空を
I'd spent so many seasons, so many white, overcast skies, without the want or need to converse with anybody.
私の英語の教科書は
For that matter, my English textbook never changed from that of a first-year middle school student before the first midterms.
そこで
That is where my time seems to come to an end. Early 2004 protagonist. 8 years later, early summer 2000. Yeah, what I said. Summer, flowing sweat. The gigantic electronic scoreboard in the driver's license examination facility lit up all at once. My eyes and everyone else's looked for our respective numbers. 237, 237. And of some 8 columns of lit text, sure enough, my examination number was shining in the mids. Clickety-clack. A nearly empty train car, perhaps thanks to the beautiful afternoon. Almost alone in that train car, I was heading back home from the examination hall. My left hand held the new traffic regulations handbook, and my breast pocket held my brand new driver's license. Yeah, we can drive now. So now I've got a license as well. I muttered somewhat happily, but there was no strong feelings behind it. I never particularly wanted to drive a car. I never particularly had any motive for it. It was just that my colleagues and the Technical Institute both recommended that I at least get a driver's license. That night, when I told my parents that I'd gotten my license, they may have replied with an, "I see." Great celebration there. What supportive parents. And when I asked if I could borrow the car just for a test run, they instantly and curtly said just one thing. No. Well, there goes for being supportive. While I didn't really want to drive the car or anything, the response was all too expected. Those were my parents for you. The next day I awoke with chest pain and went to the hospital. Sickness and I generally had nothing to do with each other, which is why I found the ER waiting room to be utterly boring. Just when I thought they were through examining me, they ordered an X-ray and some blood tests, then they left. And again I was left waiting for a long, long time. I'd already polished off 3 volleys of Shonen Jump and was just about to start on the 4th when they admitted me to the hospital right then and there. And it seemed that my new license, which still lay snugly in my breast pocket, would have to wait a long time for its turn to come. Oh boy, that's depressing. Hey look, I can feel something. Thanks game, I can finally stop playing now. Thanks again everybody for watching. Protagonist, Autumn 2004. Right around when the all too noisy cicadas had finally gone silent, I once again found myself in the hospital as per usual. Of course it was as if I'd been there the entire time. I came and went, a futile cycle. My first surgery was a month before. After that, I started doing a 5-minute commute to and from the hospital by moped. And from then on I was hospitalized, discharged, ordered to clinic, and hospitalized again and again and again. While I still had no clue what PET or ERESA stood for. What? ERESA? Not sure. In no time at all, several months had already passed. Eesh, that hurts the wallet. As my appetite decreased, my medications increased. I feel my own physical strength atrophying away. I kept imagining that my legs were getting thinner. Am I recording properly? Yes, I am. But the needle of the weight scale rudely informed me it's not just your imagination. And yet I kept looking on at myself with detached interest. As if it were happening to somebody else entirely. As if I were looking at the scene on TV or the like. My mind could not grasp what had so suddenly happened to my body. Nothing within me was telling me that this was real at all. And that's why even though it was all happening to me, I kept looking on as if it were happening to someone far away. We're totally in denial. Protagonist winter 2004. A day of winter. Around when the Christmas trees had vanished from the streets. I was discharged home as a kind of year's end treat. It seemed like an exercise in total transience, but still, it made me slightly happy. Slightly. Traveled back to a home I had not seen in a long time in the midst of a freezing rain. Strangely enough, my entire family was there. My parents, who had never so much as talked to me, came out to meet me, if with terribly stilted smiles. And my little sister, with whom I'd never had a pleasant word, had my favorite cream stew and fried shrimp just for me. They made me sit at the table, they peeled tangerines for me, they were cruelly kind. It was an impressive display. At this point, a little thought occurred to me about my new driver's license, which was still stuffed away in my pocket. That perhaps things would end for the license without it ever having known any use. Oh my. What a sly way to say, I'm gonna die. And surrounded by a tree of stilted strained smiles. I kept that thought as if it were someone else's business, with dispassion, ambiguity, and total disinterest. January 2005. A new year began and I returned to the hospital. But on this day, instead of my usual 4th floor room, I ended up in a conference room of sorts. They took me there. And then my father and the doctors had a little talk. I joined in. Well, they talked to me. So this was their so-called announcement. They said it in a terribly roundabout fashion, but they told me that I was going to die. Yep, I knew it. I see. That was my only reply. I had no other words. It was the only thing that left my mouth from beginning to end. And the doctor's ballpoint pens flew across paper as if in response to my words. Those are probably hospice. Is it hospice or hospice? I think it's hospice. It'd be weird if like, hey there, hospice. Yeah. Enrollment procedures. Business like to the last. My father was the same. So it's this simple. It was the only real thought I had. Well, at least it's simple. Damn. Can we even find a bright side of this? That day I was transferred from 4th floor to 7th floor, from a 6-person room to a private room. It was a little different from the other wards, this 7th floor. First of all, the floors were sparkling clean, and second of all, the ceiling was higher than I'd ever seen it. The rooms were very nice, had large windows from which the warm daylight streamed in as if by design. But the windows only opened a little. I tested them out, and my head would just barely fit out of one. Just in case we don't do the thing. Or anyone else does the thing. The color of my ID bracelet had changed as well. The bracelet that I had worn ever since that first hospitalization. The one that had my name and blood type recorded on it. Its color had now changed from blue to white. A high ceiling white vinyl bracelet, a window that would not open more than 15 centimeters. The TV programs celebrating the new year were still playing when I was transferred to the 7th floor. And it was at the dawn of that very year that I met her for the first time. Where?
Narcissus.
What? Narcissu? Or is it Narcissu? I don't know.
冬
Winter 2005, 7th floor. Oh wait, you're talking. Are you done talking? I think you are. There was this place kind of like a lounge at one side of the corridor across from the nurse's station. This generally deserted place held a few couches and chairs as well as a large TV. I really like the minimalist setup of this visual novel. It's like we're seeing through someone's limited vision, limited eyes. Or maybe I'm just reading too much into it. Stupid programs commemorating this new year will still be broadcasted on that 28-inch screen. And there was a girl who looked absolutely bored watching that absolutely boring TV. Short, in pink pajamas, a white bracelet on her wrist, just like mine. Impressively long hair that almost reached down to her hips. Hey, do you find that interesting? There was no deep purpose in the asking. Simply, I had nothing else to do, so I started talking to her.
別に
Not really, was her only reply to me. She didn't turn to face me at all. And she kept looking on with boredom at that TV as if I didn't even exist. Then don't watch it. Even as I thought this, I sat down in the chair next to her. And side by side we watched TV. Nothing else to do. Nothing we could do. So we sat there silently and watched TV. New Year celebration programs as per usual, a useless array of comedians and oddities. And every so often the MC's stupid shrill laughter resounding dryly in this white, sun-drenched lounge.
ねえあなた
Say, tell me. Holy shit, she said something to us. The girl suddenly started talking to me, but her eyes were, as always, glued to the TV screen.
あなた
How many times is it for you now? What do you mean by that?
ここに
How many times have you come here? To floor 7. Sorry, I have no clue what you're talking about.
そう
I see. So it's your first time then. So she'd seen my confusion about her question and come to the right conclusion.
じゃあ
Then, since there's no one else around and since it's my duty... Duty?
そういうルールなの
There's this rule. Nodding slightly, she explained that the rule was that someone here, floor 7, should tell newcomers the truth. I knew nothing. I understood even less. And as if I did not even exist, she slowly started her speech.
それじゃあ
Then listened closely. Dot dot dot. Her words, spoken methodically one by one, were a little different from all those I'd heard from the doctors about this place. In their businesslike, crisp syntaxes, they told me this is a place where one waits for medical advances. This is a place where one heals one's heart, and perhaps they might have been correct in a general sense. But according to the girl, that was just the party line. The truth was that this floor 7 was the only place in the hospital where medical treatments did not take place. This was just a place where you waited for your life to come to an end. Oh, gosh. Those are her words to me. I'd thought so as well. I'd felt it even before she'd spoken.
私
See, this is my second time. Second time doing what?
ここに来るの
Coming here. Then she explained to me that nobody on floor 7 stayed here for initial hospitalization all the way until death. While there was zero possibility of being cured, you were sent home if your condition was stable. But if it worsened again, you would be returned here. That cycle ended only in death. Whether it was at home or here on floor 7, always one of the two. You were going to die. No way to escape it seemed. And with that meaning permeating her every word, she informed me that this was her second time up here.
じゃあ
I'm only going to say this once,
ここからは
so listen closely now. She continued speaking all the while staring at the blank TV screen. This wasn't idle chit-chat about when lights out was or where the kitchen was or anything like that. This was something completely different. The third time you are discharged home, resign yourself. There won't be a fourth time. You will never go home again. If you ever want to escape, head toward the B station, not the A station. Eat nothing. That is the simplest shortcut. You leave the smallest burden on your family that way. Oh man. It was as if she was packed to the brim with matters like those. This was probably an oral tradition, relevant only to those who were going to die, and kept by those who came here for that purpose. So is this the duty that you were talking about?
そうよ
Yeah, that's right.
いつかあなたも
So do remember to perform it for a newcomer yourself someday, okay? Oh boy, goosebumps. Let me just drink something first. Oh boy. With those words, she slowly stood up. She casually tossed her long hair and it grazed my nose.
じゃあ
I have to go get my temperature measured, so... Then she turned her back and started walking down the corridor. Now completely deserted and safe for me, the lounge held only the laughter from the TV and the white flowers by the windowsill. In the end, she didn't even look at me once. Okay. Protagonist January 10, 7th floor. A few days later, New Year celebrations were over. The middle and high school students were beginning a new term. And just as ever, she and I sat in this lounge, staring blankly at the TV. This is boring.
そうね
So it is. So we said, but both of us kept our eyes on the screen. Hey, is this place always this way?
質問の意味がわからない
I don't understand what you're getting at. I'm getting at how it's always deserted. Other than the nurses, doctors, and health staff, and other than her, I'd not seen a single person. Did everybody go home for the new year or something?
その理由を知りたいの
Do you really want to know? Well, I didn't mean...
じゃあ言わない
Then I won't tell you. Vio disinterestedly tossed back and forth this exchange that could not even be called a conversation. The slight breeze coming from the window that would not open more than 15 centimeters. From time to time her hair would sway, and as if in agreement the flowers at the windowsill would too. This was how we killed time day after day. Jesus. Staring at the boring good-for-nothing TV. At least get a switch or something. Can you request that? Oh, here the two of you are, an elderly nurse said as she rushed towards us. From what I'd seen of the nurse's station, she was apparently the charge nurse of floor 7. Well, Miss Yatsumi, any fever?
大丈夫出てない
I'm fine, no fever. Satsumi. So that was her name. Holy crap, we never asked for her name after all this time of talking and stuff. You really shouldn't be moving around like this. Do you understand? Everyone's worried about you.
別にいいよ。
Well, whatever. Who cares? I'm gonna die anyway. Why is it? Oh my god. Come now, what kind of answer is that? Oh, children these days. Oh, how about you? Oh, what if you were in my position? How the hell would you feel? You won't understand. The nurse continued to scold the henpeck for some while longer. The girl named Satsumi, just pretended to not notice at all. She simply stared straight forward at that boring TV, paying that fussy nurse as little heed as she could. I'll be coming later to draw some blood, okay? With those words, the charge nurse went back to the nurse's station. Hey, you know? Well, mind if I call you Satsumi? I asked this as I stared at her white vinyl ID bracelet, and at that blood type, the name written therein. Is something the matter, Satsumi?
どうして呼び捨てなの？
Why are you calling me that? Huh?
年下のくせに。
You're younger than me. Hey, why am I younger than you?
別に。
Nothing. That's just what I thought is all. It wasn't that I was offended that she called me younger than her. It was just that no matter how I looked at it, I thought I was 5 to 6 years older than she was. That's why I took out my driver's license from my breast pocket and handed it directly to her. See, I may not seem it, but I'm 20.
やっぱり年下よ。
So you're younger after all. Damn. She only took a glance at my license before handing it back to me. I don't really get what you're saying.
どうでもいいんじゃない？
It doesn't really matter. I'm just a little older than you are, that's all. She murmured, as expressionlessly as ever. Her eyes were fixed on that boring TV, alright, but it also felt as if she was gazing at something far away. A chance at a normal life. After they had taken my AM vital signs, I snuck past the nurses and boarded the elevator. When I got to floor 1, I walked out of the outpatient clinic doors and walked outside of the hospital. My goal was the place that I'd been told about not long ago, the faraway B station, not the nearby A station. It wasn't that I wanted to escape or anything. At floor 7 or at home, none of us died anywhere else. That's what I'd been told. And this B station, which this girl named Satsumi had apparently been to many times, that's why at least just once, I wanted to see this place with my own eyes. It's not as if there's going to be a guard on duty. Even so, we were inhabitants of floor 7, different from other inpatients. And thinking of vague maybes so early in the morning, I headed toward that station. My legs settled into a lazy gait as I glanced sidelong at the people commuting to school or work. After about 25 minutes of this, I arrived in front of the station. Roughly 4 bus stops away when I calculated it out. Wow, there are a lot of people here, was my first impression of the B station. I stood out a bit because I was in pajamas. But I felt that if I could just buy a subway ticket, I'd be able to go anywhere, no question about it. I still had no idea why I'd been told to go to the B station, not the A station. But it looked as if it would be easy to escape if I really wanted to. She must have come here many times herself, so why did she remain on floor 7 right now? The station in the early morning. I stood there thinking these thoughts as I watched the people rapidly passing me by. That night after lights out, bored of manga and unable to sleep, I wandered through the hospital alone. Certainly it wasn't supposed to be allowed after lights out, but we of floor 7 had a peculiar kind of liberty. So in the presence of no light, in the pitch-black stillness of the lounge, that was when I found her. Hey, have you been looking outside today? Yeah. The darkened interior. She did answer me, but she continued to stare out the window as if she had not. I immediately launched into what had happened today. Oh, by the way, I went out to the station today. The B station, just as you taught me.
So,
I see. But her response did not change. I thought she'd react with something, because she'd been there before too. Now that I think about it, did the fact that she was here mean that she had no intention of escaping in the first place?
私
I'm going to be going home soon. What? She opened her mouth abruptly and spoke as if she'd seen right through me.
でも
But next time will be the third time,
もう会えないかもね
so we may not see each other again. Yeah, I guess. Probably what she was talking about was a temporary discharge from the hospital. She told me that nobody was discharged from floor 7 more than 3 times. Unlike the elderly, given the progress of our diseases, this meant all the more to young people like us. Her "we may not see each other again" was filled with that kind of meaning. Oh, which one have you decided on? Decided on?
どっちで死ぬつもりってこと
Where you're going to die. That word, death, came up so abruptly, I was at a total loss for words. I don't know, haven't thought about it yet.
そう
I see. It's just your first time after all. She murmured, looking desolate. Certainly, it was as if I was going to exist here forever. Just like everyone else, I would be admitted and discharged, slowly grow weak, and someday I would have to choose in the end, here on floor 7 or at home surrounded by those fake smiles.
私は
I don't want to die at home,
だけど
but I don't want to die here either. Then what will you do?
別に
I guess the only thing is to keep on living. No, sorry.
自力で歩けるうちに
Is to go somewhere while I still have the strength to. Somewhere? You can't be. This girl was staying here on floor 7 when she could have escaped anytime she wanted. When I thought of that, do you have any other place to go?
あなた
Do you
私を引き止めたいの
want to stop me? Uh,
それとも
or do you want to come with me? Well, no, that wasn't what I was thinking about.
じゃあ聞かないで
Then don't ask. She was staring out the window as she spoke, dispassionate, not looking at me once, the same as ever. But then, and just then, her usual expressionless face looked so very sad to me. I was a newcomer to floor 7, just recently taught that the third discharge was the last. And she was a girl who soon was to be discharged for the second time. I still did not feel anything real about what was happening to me. But would I, too, come to wear such a face someday? Damn. The rated morning twilight. Sometimes sleet, sometimes snow, always coming down. And I was sitting there watching TV in my usual place. Floor 7 felt as devoid of people as it always had.
面白い
Anything interesting? No, completely boring. She walked to my side. Saying no more, she sat down in the chair next to me. And that was how we began watching TV on this very day as well. She was probably in the same boat as me. Nothing else to do, nothing we could do. Oh, I had never seen her respond to the TV before. Is something the matter?
別に
Not really. Those were her usual words, but her response was anything but usual. And I looked at the screen, interested in anything that could move her so. What was in the TV screen? There were nature scenes being displayed on TV, beautiful hills and dales burgeoning with trees and flowers, and a vast spread of white flowers in the midst. I remember those flowers from somewhere. They looked very similar to the white flowers that decorated the windowsills. Could those be the same flowers? You know, the same as those over there? I pointed to the flowers by the window as I said this.
違う
No. Huh, really?
種類は同じだけど
They're of the same variety, but they're not strictly the same. She glanced at the flowers by the window for a second, then went back to gazing at the TV. She told me that they were different, but I couldn't see the distinction between the two. They meant nothing to me whether flowers were the same or different. But what did mean something was this girl, who usually never said a word, more than she needed to. She was conversing in rare form today, which is why I decided to follow along. Do you happen to know a lot about them? Flowers, that is.
別に
Not really. Really? But I don't see the difference. The flowers on the screen and the flowers in the vase to her side. Continued to talk as I stared vacantly at the two. Look, are these orchids or lilies? See, they're pure white, right? Please talk to us. I had no interest, yet I kept trying to make conversation. But she resumed her silence soon enough. Oh man. And with her usual lack of expression, she continued staring at the boring TV screen. And just when I turned back to the TV, decided the fact that I'd get nothing more out of her.
ナルキッソス
Narcissu, she said something to us. What?
ナルキッソスよ
Those are Narcissus? Is that how you pronounce it? Narcissus? Narcissus. I'm not sure. I think it's Narcissus because Narcissus. Yeah, I don't know. Oh my god, we finally saw her face! Yes! What a build-up! I was thinking, when are we gonna see her face after all this build-up and all this conversation about time passing and shit? We finally see her face! Yes! As she answered. She turned to face me for the first time. Yes! I know, right? It's such a good build-up! Her hip-length hair swaying, she pointed at the TV screen and looked at me. The idea bracelet on her wrist was white. Her skin was white, just like the flowers on screen. And I swore I could see a tiny smile. Yeah, I can see it too! Holy shit! Take a picture, boys, because I don't know when we're gonna see this face again. Oh my god, that's depressing. And that face that was looking at me for the first time. Oh my god. Oh boy. Well, okay. Wait, what? I don't get it. So we're done with prologue. Wait, which one is it? Is it chapter 2 or chapter 1? Is there like a... So did we do prologue, chapter 1 and floor 7? I don't get it. Did we do prologue first and then chapter 1? Or which one is it? I forgot how this works. Is chapter 1? Should we? I don't know. Maybe. If this is the same, I'm gonna skip and stuff. Wait, it doesn't work? There we go.
7回
We need to tell us about floor 7. Wait, we did this before. Church channel. Load. Oh, how do we save though? Voiced. So are we on chapter 2 now? Okay. July 16th, 2005, a few days later. A few days later, plunging further into the depths of winter. During this time that the rest of the world called exam period, we were sitting watching TV the same... Wait, we did this too. Chapter 2. July 16th, 2005. A few days later, plunging further into the depths of winter. During this time that the rest of the world called exam period, we were sitting watching TV the same as ever. Wait, haven't we done this before? It's boring, so it is. This exchange could not even be called a conversation. We spent all our days in this fashion, killing time without meaning or purpose. Speaking of which, when is it for you? Today. What? What do you mean today? I see, so it's today. That word, that today, was a temporary discharge that she'd been alluded to earlier. So we may not see each other again. Huh? Yeah, I guess that's true. Because even if she were to be readmitted to floor 7, that would be her last time. And in that time, I'd probably be discharged and readmitted myself. It didn't seem likely that things could be timed so that we could see each other again.
あなた決まった
Have you decided yet? About where I'm going to die? Yeah. No, not yet.
そう
I see. She nodded somewhat sadly, the expression of someone being discharged for the second time. I still felt nothing about the situation and hadn't heard from the doctors about my first discharge. Come to think of it, I wonder if she'd finally decided what her own answer to the dilemma would be.
説明
Tsutsumi, everything's set. A lady came up to us with these words. It was probably her mother. She nodded slightly at me. I did not rise.
じゃあ
We'll be leaving soon, but are you all ready? Yeah.
それでは
Have a nice day, sir. Of course I mean, do I have a choice to have a nice day? She nodded slightly at me again and then turned to leave this place. She did stretch out her hand toward that girl who was likely her daughter. But the girl did not move at all. She stayed rooted in her chair even after her mother had grabbed her hand.
どうかしたの節に
What's wrong, Satsumi?
少し
It hurts a little.
苦しいってどこが胸お腹
What? Where? Your chest? Your abdomen?
胸
My chest. Oh, this is a feeling kind of psychological hurt, right?
ちょっと待ってなさいすぐに先生呼んでくるから
Stay right here. I'll call the doctors right away. She took off in visitor-use slippers in a sprint towards the nurse's station. There were but two things left in this place, her and me, both in chairs. I didn't know a thing about her disease or its status. The only things I knew were courtesy of her white ID bracelet. Her name was Satsumi and her blood type was O. Oh man, but we were inhabitants of floor 7 and she was older than me, if just by a little. Hey, do you want to lie down over there until the doctors come? Pointed to the corner of the lounge at the couch, at something that I'd never seen used. It'll support your back after all.
別に
Doesn't matter, I'm fine now. Saying those words and nothing more, she stood up quickly. Hey, wait! Don't do anything foolish. But she was already halfway down the corridor before I could finish the sentence. Nightfall after lights out. Bored of reading manga as usual, I wandered through the darkened hospital. The usual lounge now pitch dark with the absence of light. That was where I found her. Hey, so you're still here? Yeah, so much for being discharged. What's up, not feeling well again?
別に
Not really, was all she said as she stared at the window. So her discharge had been postponed after all. No one knew when the next chance would come, but it would probably be weeks from now, not days. Hey, could it be? Did you feign illness today? No, that probably wasn't the right way to put it. See, you couldn't say that we weren't sick all the time. What I'm saying is, you didn't want to leave the hospital, did you?
意味が
I don't know what you're talking about. Because there's no afterwards for you now. Damn. But there was no answer to my question in her silence. She had asked me so many times before about where I wanted to die. It had always been that I didn't know yet and that she didn't want to die at home or here on floor 7. So you have no other place to go after all.
だったら
And what of it? No, nothing. This familiar lounge, flooded in darkness. Her familiar stance looking out the window without so much as acknowledging my existence. This place we called a hospital and its extinguished lights in spite of the fact it was only 11 p.m. or so. This was a tangent point between what was normal and what was not. On top of that, we were inhabitants of floor 7, bereft of any choice save one, death on floor 7 or death at home. The outside world that she was staring at from the pitch-black height of floor 7, the normal world. The buildings and homes were still radiant with light, and the street overflowed with people going home. And although my awareness of it was still vague, I was already an inhabitant of floor 7, already an abnormal existence. There was no longer any way for me to go back to that other world, was there now? My time is at a standstill. I spent so many seasons, so many white overcast skies, without the want or need to converse with anybody. First I would look down at the healthy kids going to school and the people walking back and forth on the streets. When I got tired of that, I always watched TV. Nothing else to do, nothing else I could do. Even when there was snow outside the window, it was always bright and sunny inside the TV screen. A dream world stretching out before my eyes without heat, without cold, without pain. I sought comfort from my imagination, and so I amassed a huge knowledge base, meaningless trivia upon meaningless trivia over and over. And before I knew it, nothing that appeared on TV seemed real anymore. And in quick succession, it also happened to books, games, and then my family. Finally, I was unable to view myself as anything real, as if I were staring at scenes of another person's life. That's why I was not surprised even when they transferred me to floor 7. If I but closed my eyes, the world would always vanish. So I thought it'd be fine. And so I thought I'd be fine, and I did as I thought. And soon enough, my second discharge from the hospital. By the time of my next admission, would probably be too weak to stand by myself. I found my own self, the one who couldn't do anything even though she knew this to be pitiful. I found my own self, the one who had no destination, to be ridiculous.
時間を止め
My time at a standstill, my heart at a standstill, my chest standing still with huge scars.
それでも
I'd lived for 22 years now and I found myself utterly helpless. Oh boy. January 19, 2005, floor 7. A few days after that, the overhanging clouds had cleared up and an endless winter sky was in their place. Oddly enough, my father had come to visit, a difficult expression on his face the entire time. But he was saying something or other about my insurance. Oh, and at the time his eyes were not unhappy at all. I have to talk to the doctors for a bit. Saying this, my father strode down the corridor, toward the dim conference room where this had all begun, or so it seemed. My hospital room was now empty. Having nothing to do now, I reached for the weekly magazines that they'd bought at the stands for me. And accompanying them, just as ever, there were fruits and drinks as get-well gifts. And to one side of the basket that the fruits were piled in, right in front of the melons that I so hated. Ooh, what I saw was a set of car keys. The keys shone silver. These were the keys to my father's pride and joy, the coupe that he'd sweated over from the upholstery on outwards. The coupe that I asked to borrow a long time ago, and I'd been told no without a single second's delay. And my still unused driver's license in the breast pocket of my pajamas. And even after it had lost its chance for use that day, it remained with me waiting, as if that were proof of its life. Oh boy. Ka-click. In silence, I grabbed the keys. It happened as if on impulse. I had no idea what my motives were either. I just seized them without a second thought, as if I were looking at a scene on TV. And a few days' worth of meds that I'd been dispensed, I stuffed those into a bag and I headed down the corridor. I snuck past the nurse's station. I quickly strode towards the elevators. A bag in my right hand and the keys in my left, the long-neglected driver's license in my breast pocket. In front of the lounge. And the next thing I saw was the girl sitting there watching TV as per usual. Staring blankly and boredly at that screen, sitting on a little foldable chair. Hey, that show any good?
そう見える
Does it look that way to you? No, not at all. The all too expected exchange. Her eyes looked as far away as they always had. Well then, shall we go together? What? I continued talking as I showed her the keys in my hand. See, I don't want it to be at home.
私は7階も嫌
And I don't want it to be on floor 7 either. Well then, shall we go together? Okay. Oh my god, we're gonna make a run for it, boys! With that, she stood up from her chair. Her hair swayed with her and grazed the tip of my nose. Again? What's up with that hair? And then she too stuffed a few days' worth of meds in a bag. And we made to leave floor 7 together. Come on, what kind of security guards does this hospital have? Or maybe they did this on purpose because, whatever you do. I don't want to get involved with a court or trial or something. I switched off that boring TV. The grating laughter of the MC was forever obliterated. Both of us in pajamas clad boarded the elevator, heading down from the top floor down to floor 1. At floor 1 we headed not for the ER entrance, but for the outpatient clinic's entrance. Whoosh. The cold bitter air struck away at our faces, all the more strong in a wide open space like the parking lot. Two of us wandered around the spacious field, looking about ourselves with unease. And after a little while, we came across my father's car. The silver coupe. My father's pride and joy impeccably maintained. I immediately inserted the key and opened the door. Go ahead, get in.
わかった。
Very well. I sank into the driver's seat. She was in the passenger seat, but she was so short that she'd have a hard time seeing the road. Oh my god, it's because she's malnourished. I'm sorry for laughing. Oh my god, I feel terrible. I turned the key into ignition and stepped lightly on the accelerator. Just as I learned during training. Oh my god, we're doing this, boys! Road trip of 2 sick people. God damn it. I don't feel like joking anything. Oh god, this is so... Reassuring engine noises filtered into the cabin. I released the handbrake and then applied the clutch. Now we could go anywhere. That was our plan. Alright, let's go. Okay. She nodded slightly. Instead of replying, I shifted into second gear. The car accelerated smoothly. Unused to the clutch and swerving slightly, I advanced slowly.
揺れるわね。
You're swerving. Yeah, it's my first time in a car. Well, it's my first time since I got my license that I've driven a car.
そう。
I see. The exit to the parking lot was now in view, the largest road behind it without traffic lights. I turned onto it. We're on the road, boys! The sound of honking car horns, those were directed at me as I cut into the road. The silver coupe complained but did not stop as I worked the unfamiliar clutch, the stiff gearbox. I must really have rubbed the other drivers the wrong way, as the honking of horns did not seem likely to cease. But I just continued to drive without caring much. None of it quite seemed real at all. Hey,
何？
what is it? Are you scared?
怖がった方が。
Do you want me to be? No, not really. Still before noon, the high-flying sun. The skies of January above and beyond the windshield. Skies so blue that they seemed almost in mourning. We had no destination. On that cold day with an alien clutch in a swerving car. On that day when we drove onto the highway in our pajamas. On that very day of winter. What? What happened then? July 19 to Ibaraki Mito Highway. Around me that blazing high sun had changed into a dusky orange. We were continuing to drive, just driving in any direction at random. And in a place that I did not recognize. We're stopping for a bit. Okay. I finally brought the car to a halt. A roadside somewhere far away from civilization. No traffic anywhere to be seen. Lonely. Having stopped the car in this nameless place, I started inspecting around the cabin. Cabin? If there was anything useful here. We just ran off without any preparation at all, but there was something troubling leaping out at me. With that on my mind, I first scoured the dashboard. There's nothing here at all. A couple hundred yen cluttered around the gear stick, a few manga volumes, and a cheap disposable camera. It was as if we had a destination, but the onboard GPS navigation system looked broken. And I only had about 8,000 yen on me. Oh my god, now what are we gonna do? That was all the money I had lying around when I up and left. So combined with the pocket change I'd found, I only had 9,000 yen or so. Damn it. Of course, I hadn't really expected there'd be anything in the car anyway. But its lack of money presented a problem. It wouldn't be possible for us to find lodging on this budget. And it didn't seem likely this girl would have any money on her either. I mean, have you checked? Have you asked?
どうかした？
Is something the matter? No, it's nothing. Whatever. I'd have expected this from the beginning. It wasn't as if I thought this through enough to have things like a plan or a schedule. I just wanted to get out right then and there. I did not want to stay where I was. Underneath the curtain of twilight, I studied the silver coupe again. Hey, are you hungry? I asked her as I drove along. Come to think of it, she hadn't eaten anything since morning. Want to stop at a convenience store or something? No. Hey, don't be like that. The food's much better than anything up on the 7th floor. She did not respond to me. Instead, she looked straight down at the pink pajamas she was wearing. Oh yeah, that's right. I looked down at my own clothing. Sure enough, in these pajamas, we'd be conspicuous no matter where we went. Not that we weren't conspicuous right now, in any case, we'd have to do something about them. And having made my decision, I steered back towards civilization. After a little more driving, we'd arrive in a place whose name I didn't know. Probably somewhere close to a rail station. Certainly enough people around for it to be the case. There's gotta be one around here somewhere. I looked around anxiously as I drove, my back pitched a little forward, not touching the seat. Ah, there one is. Alas, a coin laundromat. It looked pretty run down from the outside on the first floor of a small, forlorn building. This was as good a place as any. I stopped the car not far from the entrance to this place. Alright, I'll be back in a second. Thud. Leaving her and her confused face in the car, I walked into the laundromat. My nose was filled with the smell of bleach and detergent the moment the automatic doors opened. The exterior of the laundromat had told no lie. The washers and dryers were old and run down as well. There's nobody here. The empty laundromat swallowed whole my murmured words. Only a single dryer was in operation, making it characteristic humming noises. I immediately walked to that machine and checked its timer. It looked like it would operate for 30 minutes on 200 yen, and only 5 minutes had elapsed so far. Whoever it was had probably gone elsewhere to kill some time. Ruminating over this, I looked around just one more time to reassure myself that no one was around. Then, satisfied that I was all alone, I put my hand on the door handle of that drying machine, and I abruptly opened it. Oh my god, we're a thief now! We're gonna be wanted by the FBI, the police, the CIA, every police in the whole world! Breaking news, world's most wanted. Clothes stealer. Its door opened during operation, the dryer spun down a forced halt. I pulled out a clump of half-dry clothing, ignoring the heat and humidity. And after looking around once more to make sure no one was around, I walked out of the laundromat just like that. No CCTV? Alright, it's run down and old, okay. She sounded slightly surprised when she saw my arms full of clothing, but I threw the clothes in the back seat without a word. Alright, let's go. I looked back at the bundle of clothes with the steering wheel in one hand. Gaudy looking sweaters and jeans and almost nothing else, and in pretty big sizes at that. All still wet, but the car's heating would dry them out soon. Change it to whatever you like later. She didn't react much to those words either. She just looked back at the pile of clothes. Look, we had no choice. I know. Well, obviously, it wasn't as if I liked doing this kind of thing. And if it wasn't as if there was anything I would save for that money either. It was just that given the amount we had, it would be very difficult to buy new clothes. After I'd driven for a bit, around me the moon shone full above us. I stopped the car next to some public park. Probably a place for children to play, tucked away in the corner of a residential area. And there I started looking through the clothes I'd stolen some time back. They were mostly dry by now, thanks to the heating in the car. All men's clothing after all. I'd inspected the heap once before, a veritable matted of gaudy jeans and sweaters. Probably someone around my age, around the same size, looked like. Oh, that's convenient. And sitting in the driver's seat of the car, I changed into a pair of jeans and a sweater. Hey, you should get changed too. They're all too big. Then will you go on wearing pajamas forever? Fine. Got him. She answered reluctantly, grabbed some jeans and other clothes, and opened the door. Hey, where are you going? To get changed. And just like that, she started walking to the park's bathroom. Click. Hey, that was fast. She'd come back in short order. The pink pajamas that she'd been wearing in her hands, a white shirt, and a pair of jeans on her body. Well, that turned out fairly well. No answer. I'd expected this, but everything was too big and baggy on her. The jeans were too long and rolled far up at the cuffs, and the sleeves of the shirt were much the same way. The pajamas were better. Come on now, don't say that. It's a little warmer this way at least. She made an only slightly dissatisfied face at my words. Oh, is that it? Were you hoping for more girlish clothes? Not really. The same response as ever. I was sure that she was unhappy with her baggy shirt, but she soon returned to her usual lack of expression. But now, there we go. It had begun to rain all of a sudden. The freezing rain falling from the frigid January sky as if it had forgotten how to stop. The countless raindrops spattering on the windshield and obscuring the view from the inside. And when these grew too large for surface tension to hold up, a few of them gathered, slid down, became rivers. And these rivers swallowed up raindrops underneath them and ran to the bottom. I stared emptily at the rain from inside. A parking lot somewhere, a desolate place in the middle of the mountains. Having finished shopping at a convenience store, we were spending the night here. The dinner menu: 2 rice balls, 500 ml Pocari Sweat, not at all sponsored, half a bag of potato chips. It's been a long time since we last did anything like this. Yeah. She murmured with a convenience store rice bowl in one hand. It wasn't anything of wonderful quality, but it was far better than anything served up in floor 7. And when we were both going after the potato chips, she suddenly stopped reaching for it. Is something the matter? Not really. But her eyes were turned past the windshield glazed by the rain. And a few white flowers on the roadside. At some flowers soaked by rain. I didn't know if someone had planted them or if they were wild, but I remembered something about them. Were those Narcissu? Those are Narcissus. Alright, Narcissus. Well, I didn't know flower names all that well. I'd at least heard of Narcissus before. And this girl who seldom spoke a single word was actually talking about something. And so I followed along. And speaking of which, are these not exactly the real deal as well? Yeah, something like that. So they must be pretty rare then. Not really. You can find them anywhere. Anywhere? And where exactly? It wasn't as if I had any deep purpose in asking. It was just that I was making conversation as best as I could. And yet this girl thought about it for a bit, and slowly opened her mouth. West. West? Awaji Island is famous for them. Awaji Island? Hey, wait. How far away do you think that is? I don't know. I don't know the geography. I just started driving a car, so I wasn't even halfway proficient yet. It was probably about 700 kilometers away, and even on the tollways, I couldn't say how long it would take. And in the first place, I didn't think we had enough money for that. If we went by normal highways instead of the tollways, there was no way we'd have enough for gas. Oh gosh. Hey, don't say stuff like that. You can't mean to go there, right? Who said I wanted to go? What? I just answered your question. And just like that, she went back to staring at the flowers across the windshield. The thick haze of the cold rain streaming on glass, she kept gazing and gazing and gazing. I didn't particularly want to go there either, but I had nowhere else I wanted to go. Damn. Oh boy, this is getting tense. Done with you. I think we still could go on for a few more minutes. I mean, it is a Sunday, so
時間の止まった私。
my time was at a standstill. I piled useless trivia upon useless trivia, drew information from the TV and the TV alone. And soon nothing was real anymore, fading away into a hollow space.
でも
But I loved looking at maps. Trains, cars, I loved things that could take me places. I spread out maps on top of my narrow bed. Changed routes over and over and over. Sedans, coupes, convertibles, rode on so many different kinds of cars. The number one route continuing on forever. I ran on that road forever and never and ever. Indigo blue skies, beautiful coastlines. I ran until I came at last to these places sketched in my dreams. Slowly tracing past the arc of a cape, running on the white sand of a beach, the sun up to my back. But if I closed my eyes, I could go anywhere. Towards landscapes that I had never seen with my own eyes, longing for the soil upon which I could never hope to tread. My useless stockpile of trivia was the only thing that increased.
虚しく
All emptiness, all the colors of yearning. Oh boy, this is depressing. January 21, 2005, the sky after the rain. The high flying clouds streaming by a knife-edge speeds. The unique swishing sound of tire on wet asphalt. And through it all there we were, driving along as always. No destination, just a desire to keep going no matter what. It wasn't as if I was looking to go to Awaji Island at all. We didn't even have the gas money to get there anyway. But I drove straight ahead on unfamiliar roads, even as I thought these thoughts. But where are we? I was forced to wonder. I didn't know my geography very well to begin with, and I was seeing all sorts of place names I didn't recognize. I had planned on driving onto the ends of the earth, but with the GPS navigation system broken, I had no idea anymore. Before I knew it, I started looking around anxiously at the street signs as I drove. I don't know at all. What? Well, I don't know where we are right now. She had said something to me, and I'd given her a casual response. Because she probably wasn't going to know even if I asked her.
入間よ。埼玉県の
Iruma District, Saitama Prefecture. Also, she does know. See? It's because we don't ask her anything. What?
次の交差点を右に行けば
The next right leads to the number 16 route toward Hachioji. You knew all this? Did you happen to live around here or something?
別に
No, nothing like that at all. It was a surprise. No, it wasn't just surprising, it was nothing short of a miracle that she knew the roads to this detail. Because no matter how I looked at it, she didn't seem to have driven around all that much herself. Then could it be? Do you know the way from here to Awaji Island?
質問の意味がわからない
I don't understand why you're asking. Well, see, we might be able to get there on normal highways without having to get on the tollways. And we might just have enough gas money to get us there. Do you want to go there? Well, no, that's not what I meant.
じゃあ聞かないで
Then don't ask me. Oh, this conversation is frustrating. With those words, she fell silent. Just talk. Just be honest, god damn it. She turned to face the window with as frosty a demeanor as ever. But she wasn't looking at the passing scenery. It felt like she was staring at something in the unreachable distance. Her, then don't ask me. Just what the hell was that supposed to mean? How would she have replied if I had told her that I was planning on going? We simply continued on. No purpose, no aim. It wasn't as if we had a plan or schedule from the get-go. We just didn't want to die on floor 7 or at our oh-so-fake homes. But I, and maybe I alone, must have wanted something to show us the way, no matter what that way might be. We're going aimless, January 22, 2005. Oh, a beach? It's cold. So it is. Some beach's name I did not know. We reached the sea before we'd known it. I'd been planning on heading west, but somehow it looked like I'd ended up going south. God damn it! Yeah, we didn't go to our destination. Whoosh. A pitch black sky and a cold, windy waterfront. We both got out of the car and stared at the darkened sea. She stood apart from me as usual and stared into the distance, where the black sky and ocean melted into the horizon's edge. And after seemingly taking in the view of the ocean for a while, she slowly started walking towards the beach. Hey, what do you think will happen? Now I've got no idea what you're talking about. Do you think I'd be able to die at peace if I just walk into the sea? Well, the waves crashing, possible drowning, nope. Those were her words as she slowly walked into the sands, her back turned to me. The third time was the end. There was no fourth time. The choice was between dying on floor 7 and dying at home. Apparently no one had escaped this choice. Those were the words that she herself had spoken to me. And yet on her second time around, she told me that she didn't want to die on floor 7 or at home. This was after she explained the rules to me, after her duty to me was already over. That's why I felt that this is what she meant. I don't know, I never drowned before. Funny guy.
じゃあもしも
Then if I walk into the sea right now,
あなた止める
would you stop me? She turned her head to look at me as she said this, with the moon rising in the dark heavens as her backdrop. And her gaze, which had always been so far away, was directed straight at me. I don't know. I'd have to see when the time came.
そうよね
I guess so. She turned her back to me and slowly started walking toward the sea once more. Hey, tell me.
何
What is it? Do you want to be stopped? Upon hearing my words, she stopped short of the waves. A strong wind kicked up the spray that beat against her feet. If you want to be stopped, then I'll stop you.
別にそんなんじゃないわよ
Not really. That's not it at all. And it'll be fine if I don't stop you, right? There was no reply to my question. But her feet did not move any further either. So that was her answer then and there. What? The high heavens of winter. Blue and clear almost to the point of morning. Strong north winds beating against the electric wires overhead. The silver coupe reflecting the blue sky on its shining frame. Ooh, Daddy's probably gonna want to kill us now. God damn it, I'll kill you before you die of your sickness, you bastard, for stealing my silver coupe. Or is it possible that Dad just left the keys there and gave us the decision, left the decision to us to do this? That would be a good thing to do. Well, not really. Irresponsible? I don't know. Is it irresponsible? I don't know. With me at its wheel and with her in the passenger seat as per usual, I didn't know where this was. But the real problem was that we were going to run out of gas soon. Oh no. We didn't have that much money to begin with, and after various convenience store purchases we had even less. Only about 7,000 yen left. How much is that in today's economy? I could look it up, but nah. Of course, I had no idea how many liters this car took, but we probably had enough money to fill the tank once. We still didn't have a destination or anything, but if we didn't fill up, we could not go anywhere anymore. I'm going to fill up on gas. I see. And with that, I turned to the steering wheel and drove into a gas station that was coming into view. Welcome. Will you be paying by credit or cash? Cash, please. Regular or premium? Regular? Premium? I had no idea. Well, then again, I had no idea about anything in this car. And on top of that, it had been a long time since those driver's license classes. Which one would you like? Well, there I was at a loss for words, and there stood the gas station attendant waiting for me. And then, just as I was about to answer at random because I didn't care which one of the two it was, she spoke from the passenger seat.
レギュラーよ
Regular, please. Huh? Okay, regular then. Okay then, regular full tank paying with cash? Yeah, that'll be all. Okay then, thank you very much. The attendant skillfully began his operation with those cheerful words. The strangely disagreeable smell of gasoline wafted in from the window that had opened roughly 10 centimeters. Hey, are you sure that this thing takes regular? He said nothing at all to this, just pointed at the prices list. Oh, so that was it. It was cheaper this way. I didn't understand it very well, but I didn't think there was that much difference in price. And then I saw the gasoline meter and the number of liters being displayed. So it's 5, 6, 7, 8. The numbers were going by at incredible speed. Maybe I'd made a mistake. I began to get a little worried as I watched those numbers climb. I told him to fill the tank a while back, but I didn't have that much money on hand. Oh my god! Even with the coins, I only had about 7,000 yen, and of course I had no idea how many liters this tank took. And what was I going to do if I didn't have enough money? I did some quick calculations and realized that after 60 liters, I wouldn't have enough. Oh my god. 39, 41. The numbers kept climbing without slackening the pace at all. And I became more and more worried over something I usually didn't give a second thought to. Damn, how many liters does this thing take? And I let the words out before I knew it. Don't worry, it'll be over soon. Oh my god, are you sure about that? Huh? This has a 50-liter tank, see? Oh god, what a relief. Just as she said that, the gasoline meter stopped between 47 and 48. The sound of a receipt being printed out, and then the attendant at my window again. Thank you for waiting. The total comes to 5,240 yen. Oh, okay, here. I took out a 5,000 yen note and a crumpled 1,000 yen note from my pocket and handed them to the attendant. Alright, then your change comes to 660 yen. Here's your receipt. 600? I meant to say 760 yen, damn it. Thank you for your business. I turned straight onto the road upon hearing the attendant's cheerful voice. The silver coupe now in motion once more. What a relief! On the bright side, I was no longer worried about running out of gas. On the not so bright side, we only had about 2,000 yen left. This worried me, but there was something that preoccupied me much more. Hey, question. Could it be that you're an expert on cars too? Not really. What do you mean, not really? You know that this car took 50 liters of gas, didn't you? Of course, it may have well been that this kind of thing was absolutely common knowledge that I just didn't have, but she'd proven that she was an expert on these roads not so long ago. Having been caught by surprise twice now, I took out the vehicle specification for the glove compartment. And of course you know the make and model of this car as well, don't you? Is that a question? You can think of this as a quiz if you want. How the hell do you know that? Correct, and the specs? 99 model year, 5 speed, max 200 HP. I had no expectation that she'd actually answer. I almost involuntarily followed along on the vehicle spec sheet as she rattled off figures with total disinterest. Length 4380, width 1695, engine displacement 1797cc. Do you want me to go on? No, it's alright, you're correct. I put the vehicle spec sheet back in its place. I couldn't believe my ears, but she'd nailed every single specification. I didn't think one could just memorize these things, and I couldn't venture a guess as to why she had. But right before my eyes, she had gotten every single spec correct. And thinking back to the rose and flowers, I was getting the impression that she knew a lot about a lot. Hey, just why do you know so much about everything? I am God. Well, not really. It's nothing. It's just that I'm older than you. Really? And with that bare response, she went back to her usual silence. Just staring out the window again, I didn't find myself able to throw any more questions at her. Older. It really didn't look that way at all, but this was something she'd said before too. Her name was Tatsumi, her blood type was O. Those were written on her white ID bracelet. There was very little indication to show me that she was older than me at all. Now what? Around when the sun started peeking out from under the clouds. The silver coupe speeding along. No destination, no place to go, just running forward. No more worries about gasoline, but no more money either. Oh, fuck. Only about 2,000 yen left. Only enough for 3 to 4 more days at most of convenience store food. Alright, so now what do you want to do?
質問の意味がわからない。
I have no idea what you mean by that. I mean that we have no more money left.
だから
And so... Look, you... Her appearance as unchanging as ever. And this conversation we were having while eating rice balls bought at a convenience store not long ago. Finally, the fact that we were even driving along like this, we were using up gasoline little by little. Maybe it might have been better to just stay still without doing anything at all. But it was impossible for me to stay still without doing anything, without shooting for anything. And I kept driving with those feelings at heart. If we just kept driving on normal highways, we ran out of gas in about 3 days. Likewise, we only had enough for 3 to 4 days worth of food with the 2,000 yen we had left. We were obviously going to become too poor to do anything soon enough. Hey, do you want to try going to this Awaji Island? No reply, she just kept staring out the window as per usual. I think I might want to. Why? Well, that's... It wasn't as if we'd escape from floor 7 with any goal or destination in mind, because east or west, no matter where, anything was fine with me. But maybe that's why I wanted a goal and a destination, because anything was fine with me. Around when the daylight had given over to the darkness of night, I had stopped the car in the parking lot of a pachinko parlor. Obviously, I wasn't planning on winning any money through pachinko or slots. I knew that there wasn't much I could do on just 2,000 yen alone. But if I were skillful enough, I might just be able to swipe 10,000 or 20,000 yen. That was my guess based on the many times I've been to pachinko parlors in the past. If only I had that much, we'd be okay in the first place. We might even be able to get to Awaji Island on that amount. And so I told her about the plan that I had just thought up. How about it? Want to try it out?
いや
No. Okay, very well. I expected it, but she'd shot me down immediately. I hadn't hoped that she'd cooperate with me in the first place. I told her about my plan as a... how do you pronounce that? Fait accompli? I don't know what that means. Not because I wanted her aid in it. Alright, then wait here. I got out of the car and strode into the pachinko parlor alone. It was more crowded than I thought. Lots of pachinko balls, lots of people, and more importantly, cash boxes crowded everywhere. As good a place as any. And thinking this, I headed over to the slots machines. Oh my god, are we gonna steal? I inspected them from the corridor for a while, and after having finished my survey, I focused on one set of machines. Lots of middle-aged salarymen, alright, up to 4 boxes at their feet, and up to 2 racks above them, and an empty stand separating each of them. From what I'd seen before, these men hadn't come with acquaintances or friends. This satisfied the requirements, oh my god. Don't do this, but, well, desperate times calls for desperate measures. I'm just trying to survive. Perhaps in a place like this, no one would notice if I swiped one of those cash boxes. In a store like this, each one probably held 20,000 yen or so. If it's just that much. I just kept waiting there for one of the salarymen to go to the bathroom. Oh no. After a little while, after roughly 30 minutes had passed, a salaryman finally stood up from his seat. After I tailed him a bit to make sure he was going to the bathroom, I dashed to the back stand that he occupied. And watching the people who were hitting the slots and at the attendants, I slowly approached that stand. Then, so as not to raise any suspicion, as if it were the most natural thing in the world, I swiped one of those cash boxes underfoot. We're a criminal! God damn it! That moment, coins scattered everywhere with a thunderous noise. I'd been meaning to pick it up. Oh, no, I really had it picked up with my very own hands, but they were unable to bear that weight, and the cash box crashed onto the floor. Everyone turned in my direction to see what the commotion was all about. I got the feeling that someone was shouting. I got the feeling that someone was running toward me. But that was all behind me. I had already bolted and was less than 2 meters away from the entrance of the establishment by then. Pant, pant. I put the engine in ignition in a hurry and floored the pedal. And then when I spun the wheel to make my hasty getaway, just then... Wham, crunch, crunch. Tch. I'd run against a curb or something as I turned to make any getaway. My getaway, I mean. Thus the horrible crunching sound. But I accelerated onto the road before me without giving it a second thought. Pant, pant, sigh. My suddenly constricting out-of-breath chest and the silver coupe speeding out of the daylight and into the darkness. I was concerned about the crash a little while ago, but I had to distance myself from that place now. And soon, after 10 minutes of this, a fair distance away from that pachinko parlor, I stopped at some roadside and started to get out to inspect the damage.
大丈夫？
Are things okay? Yeah, it doesn't look too serious. She sounded slightly worried as she called out to me. I answered her as I inspected the damage. There was just a bump in the rear fender and a small crack in the muffler, and didn't look as if there would be any problem driving like this. I let out a sigh, somewhat relieved. That sucked. I thought back at what had just happened at the pachinko parlor. I'd slipped up there, but had I been a little more skillful, I might have pulled it off. And the reason I was able to hold onto the cash box was because it had been a while since I'd lifted something heavy. Oh gosh. Losing my strength. If I'd held onto it with all my strength at the outset, I might have been able to make it.
勘違いしてるわね。
So you miscalculated. Uh-huh.
今のあなたは
The current you can't do what the former you could have. She spoke as if she'd seen straight through me. But that kind of weight.
同じように
So it's best not to think of it the same way. Perhaps she was right. I didn't want to admit how changed I was. Fair enough, I hadn't anticipated at all that I could grow this weak. Then what should I do? No answer. Eyes turned in silence toward the window to stare into the dark night sky. It was probably the way she was telling me to give up. Oh my god, this is depressing. Oh boy, let me just oh my god, back here. How do I save though? So we've done Prologue, Chapter 1, 2, 3. I mean, we could go for Chapter 4. Let me just go to the bathroom real quick. Is this already the halfway point? Because if it is, after this chapter, I think I might stop or something. Chapter 4, The Emerald Sea. Let's go.
時間を止め
The reason why I'm keeping on continuing, it's a Sunday. As of recording, it's a Sunday, so yeah. Hooray. My time at a standstill. My heart at a standstill.
情報だけを
Days of useless trivia upon useless trivia. Days spent gazing at a map, closing my eyes, traveling through unfamiliar roads. One day, the usual monthly magazines of photograph on the front cover drew my eyes. A female model in a showy swimsuit, provocative poses on a sandy beach, a smile captured right before the emerald sea that I'd always dreamed about. She was probably my age. Oh my god. Oh my god. While someone at her age is doing the model thingy, she's like stuck here in the hospital, waiting for the Reaper, smiling at me happily, cheerfully, with her outstanding figure. It wasn't as if I was jealous or anything. I didn't own any swimsuits to begin with, and I didn't come close to having any need for them. My pajamas were quite enough for me. I'd spent so many seasons, so many white overcast skies, without the want or need to converse with anybody. I remembered that day, June of the first year of middle school, the day of my first hospitalization. I remembered having ordered a swimsuit. I remembered having done so several years ago now. That day I remembered that swimsuit that had lost its opportunity to be used. Aww. I took that school swimsuit new as the day I bought it, out of the drawer where it had patiently waited for years. I took off my usual pajamas and timidly put on that navy blue swimsuit. I was shocked. It had already been years, and yet it fit me as if it had been made for me that very day. And that swimsuit model was smiling at me warmly, smiling at me from the midst of the emerald sea. smiling at me warmly and happily with that beautiful womanly figure. It was saddening. It wasn't as if I was jealous, no. The truth was that I was probably yearning for it, so it's still kind of jealousy though. Yearning for it impossibly, stubbornly, because I knew that it was absolutely impossible. But
胸の大きな傷跡が
the huge scars on my chest were telling me to just give up. I like this line. The huge scars on my chest. Is it from the operation, literally, or is it psychological scars, like, pain, emotional damage or something? I love this line.
生涯の伴侶は
My lifelong companions, my scars were telling me to go back to my world of closed eyes. Oh boy. January 22, 2005. Around the time when the sun slowly arced, that's a word, right? Arced down and dyed the western horizon orange. We were on the road as usual. What should we do now? We really had no more money left to spare. Oh my god. Hey. As I thought upon these things, she caught me by surprise by calling out to me.
あなた
Are you allowed to soak in baths? Yeah, they said I could go ahead, unless it was a long protracted bath.
そう
I see. I'm about the same way. What she meant by allowed and what I meant by they was that the doctors didn't caution us against it. There had been many who had been forbidden to do so due to kidney or digestive tract issues. And now that I thought about it, her problem was probably in her circulatory system just like me. Well, do you want to take a bath?
悪い
Is that bad? No, I kinda wanted to as well. Even so, we didn't have enough money to stay at a hotel or an inn. Then do you want to stop by a public bathhouse?
銭湯
Bathhouse? Yeah, we've got the money for that, at least. No, it's fine. What do you mean, fine? It had only been 3 days since we'd escaped from floor 7. We were allowed to bathe twice a week there, and had sponge baths twice a day as well. Then again, we weren't getting very sweaty given the season, and since we were in a car, we weren't getting dirty. Could it be that it's embarrassing for you to be in a public bathhouse?
別に
Not really, nothing like that at all. What is it do you want from me? Around the time when the sun had completely disappeared and the moon waxed large in the night sky, some distance away, I found something that looked like a school. This would have to do. I stopped the car before the gates. Then I rummaged in the back seat through the clump of clothing there. If I remembered correctly, there were 2 to 3 towels in this heap. Well, that's lucky. And then after sifting through a bunch of clothes, I found a hand towel after all. It had the legend Shirayashi Construction written on it, probably one of those appreciation gifts they gave out like candy. Alright, then wait a bit. Taking 2 towels with me, I headed toward the school. I climbed around the closed gates and looked around anxiously for my target. Ah, there it is. I found a water faucet station, probably for gardening use. Oh. That's gotta be cold. Turned the knob and cold water poured out of the faucet, water cold enough to freeze me stiff. I wet the 2 towels and squeezed them out. Sorry for the wait. Here. I handed over one of the 2 towels to her. Then I took off my sweater and started washing myself. The cold wet towel felt pretty good against the warm heating of the car. Hey, you go ahead and clean yourself too. It feels nice and cold too. Okay. She was a little reluctant at first, but then she slowly started undoing her buttons. The shirt and jeans that were all too big on her. Wait, her shirt has buttons? So, wait, there's a button shirt, right? I don't think about it. Unlike me, she simply washed herself by retracting her hands into the shirt. Say, what is it?
見ないでよ
Don't look. Oh, of course I won't look. Oh, sorry, that's right. She murmured with the wet towel in her hand, her clothes half on, half off. It was the first time I'd seen her look like that. A little annoyed, a little embarrassed. She feels something. Emotions. Inside the car, our backs turned to each other. Hey, feels pretty good, eh?
うん
Yeah. Inside the car, shrouded in the dark of night. Oh my god, how long have I been recording? Okay. Looks good, looks good. Uh-oh. Inside the car, shrouded in the dark of night. Drying myself off, reflected in the glass of the windows. Which also reflected her with her back toward me, drying herself off just as I was. She'd taken off her shirt just as I had. I didn't mean to look, but I could see big scars on her chest. Oh, she had literal big scars. Okay. Probably post-surgical. Didn't know what for, but they were much larger than mine.
ねえあなた
Hey. Huh? Oh, what is it?
そんなに珍しい
Is it that strange? Her back turned to me, speaking to me, reflected in the window. What now? January 25, 2005. The silver coupe in motion underneath cloudy skies. Driving around without a destination as per usual, it was already 3 days later. And nothing had really changed in that time. Along the way we found a free public open-air bath. And since it seemed devoid of people, you were able to take a bath after all. Oh, lucky. Other than that, we were out of money. Fuck. We were running out of gas again. Oh shit. Are you getting tired?
別に
Not really. We exchanged these words while eating convenience store-bought rice balls. They might have been tastier than anything up at floor 7, but they were becoming pretty boring by now. But we didn't have enough money to have anything but this kind of meal.
音が
It's noisy. Huh? What is it all of a sudden?
車の音
The car's sounding louder than before. Oh yeah, fair enough. This was probably because I cracked the muffler when I was escaping from the pachinko parlor. I hadn't really noticed it, but sure enough, the car was sounding louder. Not a real impediment to driving. But the bigger problem was the gas. Oh shit. I'd already been driving for 5 minutes since the meter had bottomed out at empty. And I only had 900 yen left. Oh fuck. Unlike last time, this was obviously not enough. And if the car stopped due to lack of gas, we'd be able to do nothing anymore. Having decided, I looked for a gas station, and one that was self-service. Oh, I don't like this. Having found one, I stopped the car next to the nearest pump. I'm going to get some gas.
そう
I see. But don't get out of the car. No answer, but she probably knew what I meant by that. I opened the cap to the gas tank and snaked in a gas hose. Only one other car in the station, and the little building with an attendant within. Probably there to get payment and give back change. According to the notice on the wall, you were supposed to take the receipt to him when done. We could probably make our getaway right now if we wanted. Oh, we're Class A criminals, is what I felt as I looked around the quiet gas station. 23, 26. Numbers went by on the meter, too slowly it seemed, unlike last time. Kept wondering uneasily if it wouldn't fill up a little bit faster. And after the meter hit 40, right before the tank was full... Welcome! Ooh. For some reason, the attendants who had been in the building up until now came rushing towards us. Sir, are your tire pressures and accessories okay? Yeah, they are. I see, well it's cold out, so please be careful. He even started cleaning the windows as if trying to take good care of us. While he did so, the pump detected the tank was full, and with a business-like sound spit out a receipt. Oh, please go over there to pay. He stopped wiping the windows for a second and pointed at the building. I held the receipt in my hand in silence and stood completely still, wondering what I should do. Is something the matter, sir? Oh, no, it's nothing. For now, I got back into the car, and then I just turned the engine into ignition. What should I do now? The attendant was washing the rear window by now, so if I floored the accelerator now, then he'd be able to read the license plate number right away. Oh, fuck. And we'd get arrested just like that. But we had to escape now. Having decided, I floored the clutch, and then just as I was about to shift from the neutral into first gear... Here you go. Huh? Go ahead and use it. She abruptly produced an envelope, and then took out 10,000 yen note and gave it to me. What? You have money on you? I never had thought that she'd had any. And because of that, we had so many hardships up until now. Why did you tell me?
あなた
Did you ask? She has a point, but holy fuck, do you know how much I've been through to get to our destination? So many worries, so many words saying, oh, you're not gonna make it, you're gonna die here, you're not gonna get to your goal, fuck! But it's also our fault for not asking her, because we keep on assuming that she doesn't have that, she doesn't do this, she doesn't do that, and yet when she keeps proving to us that she does have those kinds of things, fuck us, where's our character development? Huh? No, well,
聞かれなかったからよ。
because you didn't ask. Oh, god damn it! And with that, she turned back in silence to the window. The silver coupe in motion once more. The tank was full again, and we had a 5,000 yen note as change. But what had just happened was weighing heavily on my mind. Hey, you know, here, this is all of it. Huh? Before I could get any further, she presented the envelope to me. Can I use this?
別にいいわよ。
Doesn't really matter. I looked into the envelope and there were 4 10,000 yen notes inside. This would be enough. But now there was something entirely different on my mind. Why did she have this much money on her? Yeah, what the hell? The couple of thousand yen that I'd brought with me were just whatever I had on hand at the time. But in her case, it was as if she prepared this all in advance. Hey, you know, you said you didn't want to die on floor 7, right?
家だって嫌よ。
And not at home either. Yeah, same here. Then where exactly did you want to go? Didn't you prepare this money for just that purpose? Then I remembered what she had told me earlier. She was going somewhere while she still could. And she asked me, do you want to stop me or come with me? So in truth, is there somewhere you want to go?
別に
Not really. Can you please just say where you want to go? That's not much of an answer.
どこもないわよ。
There isn't anywhere. That was all she murmured, desolately, sadly. If that was the case, had she been preparing for a trip all by herself without having a destination in mind this entire time? It did make me wonder who would do such a lonely thing. But as I gazed at her lonely-looking profile, I found my answer. She would.
じゃああなたはどうなの？
Then how about you? Me? Not really,
真似しないで。
Don't imitate me. I'm not imitating you. Kept driving along without a destination. One had escaped from floor 7 without a second thought. The other had made futile preparations without a destination. But right now, anywhere is fine with me, but I want to go somewhere. What? At least for me, I wanted a path to follow. I was fine with anything as long as it was a path. Hey, how about that Awaji Island you were talking about? We can get there with the money we have. Really, anywhere would have been fine as long as it wasn't floor 7 or home, as long as we could get there. But we couldn't just wander around aimlessly. I wanted to head toward a destination, no matter what that destination was. What about you? Want to try going there? Please say yes.
別に
Oh, god damn it. Not really. With that, she turned back to the window in her usual silent fashion. Those same eyes, the same as ever, looking somewhere into the distance. Just what could she be looking at? Just what was she hoping for when she came with me? What? Oh god, we're done. Okay, that was weird. Okay, so, oh fuck. It's frustrating. I want to continue more, but you know, this video has gone on for long enough. So yeah, that was Narcissu from Prologue Chapter 1 to 4. God damn it. I feel something, but this feeling is depressing. But hey, at least I feel something, so that's something. Hooray. Better than not feeling anything. So yeah, that was Narcissu, Prologue Chapter 1 to 4. I'm probably gonna do this on a weekend again so that I don't have to worry about work and shit. So yeah, if you want to try the game for yourself, it's available for free on Steam. I'm gonna post the link or something. Wait, can I post links? I mean, I can post links now, but I don't know if I can post Steam links. I'm just gonna try it. Anyway, that is all for today. I hope you guys feel better. I hope you guys feel something, because I don't, which is depressing. That is all for today. Stay safe and take care of yourselves.